Cupcar 2.0 is my most ambitious sim rig build yet. And the truth is, it really has to be because I've made a lot of promises to you guys and some pretty big commitments to make this come together. It's been about 4 years since I started doing the YouTube channel, but believe me when I say the journey started well before that. And in all the time I've been doing this, I realized I've never given you guys a proper introduction. So today I want to share with you guys who I am, where I've been, and what I've learned along the way. And maybe by the end, you guys will understand why I have so much ambition for this current build. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jay Bell, and this is the journey of Cupcar 2.0. My passion for cars and racing started back with the original Gran Turismo. And I know I may not look it, but yes, I am actually that old. I was even recently reminded by my little brother that we used to build cars out of cardboard or crates or whatever we could get our hands on. And here I am 25 years later, still obsessed with cars, still trying to build the ultimate sim rig, and still loving every minute of it. Now, despite all of that, outside of having a Mad Catz racing wheel as a teenager, I didn't actually get to build my first sim rig until about 10 years after I graduated high school. So I started out with the Logitech racing wheel and a wooden cockpit. I went to the junkyard and grabbed a seat. This is all like your typical beginner sim racer stuff that I didn't realize was as common as it was back then. I really wanted it to be as immersive as I could possibly get it and kind of just did my own thing with it and tried to make it look as much like a real car as I could on the inside. Obviously, I wasn't getting anywhere near it, but it was a good start. And ultimately, all of that led to me being passionate about building immersive sim rigs and starting this YouTube channel. So here we are 8 years after my first rig build, and I want to talk about some of the rigs that have been on the channel. What many of you might not have gone back far enough to see is that when I started this, it was actually called Podium Couch, and it was meant to be a mix of RC cars, sim racing, and real cars. It was around the third or fourth video that I started doing sim racing. And I built my first sim rig for the channel using an aluminum tube Conquer cockpit. And I started out with a Logitech wheel, but that only lasted about a week before I switched to Thrustmaster. This was several months before the Fanatec CSL ecosystem came out. So at the time, direct drive was kind of inaccessible unless you were willing to spend a ton of money. And to get the channel started, I needed to start somewhere. The TSXW was actually a pretty good option to start out with. And during that time, I basically started to piece together what would become my first triple monitor setup. I used some janky mounts and pieced it together with, whatever I could get my hands on at the time that was reasonable and budget friendly. Not too long after doing that is when I bought my first aluminum profile cockpit from Rig Metal. And it kind of changed things for me because now I had options to mount different things that I wanted to mount to the rig and kind of do it in a unique way that I wasn't able to do it with an aluminum tube. So I started thinking more about reaching the level of immersion that I always wanted from a sim rig. And that's when the concept for a PVC roll cage with a foam board roof was actually originated. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm the first one to do it, but at the same time, I'm having a really hard time finding anybody else that has proof that they did it before I did. And here I am, almost exactly 4 years later, sitting in the exact same spot that rig was built, looking to push the boundaries of immersive sim racing as far as I possibly can. But there's still one sim rig I haven't talked about. After that second sim rig build on the channel, I kind of hit a brick wall. I didn't feel like I had the equipment to produce the quality I wanted, and I didn't necessarily feel like I had the funds or the budget available to keep building the sim rig to what I wanted it to be. So I quit making sim racing content for a little bit and focused on building up some of the gear and things that I needed to be able to deliver a higher quality. And eventually when I came back into the CSL ecosystem. Obviously, it wasn't the top quality, but it gave me a good starting point to come back to, and something to focus on building an immersive sim rig around. It was throughout the building and progression of that sim rig that most of you guys joined the channel, and it's also where I learned the skills and knowledge that I have now that's going to help me build Cupcar 2.0. So before I share with you guys the progress on Cupcar 2.0, I want to take a minute to share some of the things that I've had to learn along the way in order to make this successful. Ever since the very first button box that I put onto a sim rig, I've been building my own electronics. To call it a skill is almost arguable because I'm still so bad at soldering that I never do it on camera. But aside from that, I've pretty much got the wiring down and figuring out different button matrix and all that stuff. And it's something that I enjoyed doing and being able to put my own work on the rig. The designs and functionality have gotten a lot better since I got into 3D printing, but the soldering is still definitely a challenge. Now, in order to make the button boxes and the custom lighting systems and everything work, I've had to develop a little bit of knowledge of Arduino coding and the software and things like that. to be able to get them to do exactly what I need them to do. That being said, I still refer to ChatGPT for a little bit of coding help, and it's a great resource if you guys are ever having trouble with the code. And even more recently, in the last year, I've started to learn 3D printing, and it's something that if you guys saw the previous rig, you know that I got pretty deep into the 3D printing stuff, and it's something I'm going to rely heavily on this new rig build, and something that I actually really enjoyed doing. And then, of course, there's the CNC machine, which may very well be the death of me at this point. That thing has been the ultimate challenge to learn. I picked up 3D printing really quick. CNC machine has been a much bigger challenge. I feel like I finally have some understanding of how it works now, and I feel like we can move forward with building gear and things like that. But the CNC machine, I think, will be the ultimate challenge for this build, as it's something that I've just barely started to learn it, and I'm trying to acquire all these skills and things to be able to use it. And the fifth skill I've had to learn is one that is absolutely essential to making everything come together, because it's required for 3D printing and for CNC milling. And basically, I wouldn't be able to make custom electronics or do most of the things that I plan to do without the ability to use Blender and Fusion 360. Fusion 360 I'm still a little rocky on. I feel like I've got Blender down pretty well at this point, and I think that the combination of those skills is going to make it to where this will be a much more effective process than the last time I tried to do it. And that brings us to Cupcar 2.0. This is a build that's unique for a lot of different reasons, and I'm going to cover just a few of them really quick. Setting aside the fact that just in general building super immersive interiors and stuff for sim rigs is just kind of starting to come out of being a very, very niche thing. This will be one of the first sim rig builds that uses 3D printing and CNC to fully design the interior of the car. It also happens to be one of the first sim rigs, if not the first sim rig, ever built from top down using a curated list of sponsors. And I know when I say sponsor, some people cringe, and I get it, but in this case, this isn't me just putting random feelers out all over the world to anybody making sim racing gear. I had specific brands that I wanted to involve in this build, and yeah, some of them haven't joined the project yet or have already turned me down and aren't getting involved in it. But the brands that have are brands that I truly believe in, that I wanted to get behind the build because they make a good product, and I wanted to deliver something quality and unique, and the idea of building like a racing team around it just sounded really cool, and it was something that hadn't been done before. So before you guys go, I want to share just a quick update on the rig. I'll take you on a little walk around and show you what I've gotten done since the last video and tell you what's coming next. When you guys last saw the rig, I had just finished building it and getting the seat on. And I'm still kind of at a standstill because I'm waiting on monitor mounts, and I wanted to do a different video today. But because I don't have the mounts, I wanted to show you guys what I have gotten done so far. As it does appear that Fanatec will be staying on the rig, at least for the early part of this build, I've gone ahead and mounted the wheelbase and pedals, and then I've been working on trying to get the cable management under control so that when I do mount the monitors, it looks clean and you're not really able to see random cables anywhere on the rig, which is something I never really got right before. I've also gotten the butt kicker mounted back under the seat, though I think I'm probably going to get some extra aluminum profile and move it because I don't necessarily like the current position. It's already an insanely clean build, and I can't wait to see it with monitors wrapped around it. Alright, so the main purpose of this was to give you guys a little backstory on my sim racing experience and where I've been and kind of the journey I've taken to get here. But I also wanted to give you a quick update on Cupcar 2.0, so I got an opportunity to do that. As of right now, filming this video, the triple monitor mounts will be here today. So on the next video, I'll be able to deliver what I promised and give you guys a full breakdown of how I set up the POV, color tune the GPU, and get everything just right for iRacing. Make sure you guys check out our sponsors down in the description. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss anything else on this build. And I'll see you guys on the track.